Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and ting and ting and ting. Back with some more vibes for all. And since we watching all this history stuff about other places, I decide, I'm gonna share the history of my little island with y'all. This one is called the History of Grenada. This is where I was born and raised the thing, hence the accent and all of that. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna talk too much, but let's just get into this Grenada thing here. Let's YouTube and simmer.
Hey friends, hey, it's your girl Bengali So Jolly coming at you live from the one and only Spice Owl, aka Grenada. So you guys know I love giving you history, especially about the African diaspora. So today is no different. I'm going to give you the ins and outs of the history of Grenada right here on Not So Typical News. Okay, let's jump into some history. Grenada is a beautiful and lush island located in the Lesser Antilles between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. It is the largest of 6 smaller sister islands located north and around it. I stayed in St. George's Parish at the Coyaba Resort, which is located on the beautiful Grand Anse Beach. Grenada owes her formation to the violent volcano.
That right there is where I'm from. That's my spot right there. Grand Anse Beach. I mean, that's where I grew up, around that area there. I live like 10 minutes walk from this beach right here. Now, where I was born is way down on the other side there in the city of St. George's. That's the city. But this is where I grew up. Right there in that lush greenery and woo, beautiful island, turquoise water thing. That's where I was grew. I man grew up.
Formation of several islands along the Caribbean Sea. Although it's still considered a volcanic
Swim those
island,
waters a
it
lot.
hasn't seen an eruption in many, many years. So don't worry about dying in a fiery death if you come for a visit. The odds of that are super slim. Being at this resort only provided me with a mere taste of Grenada, but you know your girl Bengali likes to take a whole bite, so it was only right to head out of the resort to satisfy my craving for adventure. I had to link up with my man Pirate, a local cab driver who is mad cool and mad funny, but more importantly, very informed and proud of his Grenadian history. Pirate is super cool and safe, so definitely hit his line when you touch down. His info is in the description below. Anyway, his first lesson was about the history of the original inhabitants of Grenada. The first settlers of Grenada were the Arawaks. Arawak was a general term given to the many tribes who spoke the Arawakan language. This tribe was said to have been friendly and welcoming to the colonizers. However, they were no match for the more aggressive Carib tribes who drove them off the island. Columbus spotted the island on his third voyage in 1498 and
Okay, she said the Arak was the peaceful ones and the Caribs were the warlike ones. That's what they taught us in school. And I don't know if it's a myth or a truth, but they said that the Caribs would follow the Araks and consume them because it was taught that consuming the enemy would make them stronger. That I think that was a myth. I don't know how true it is, but growing up as a kid, I heard that story.
named it Concepcion, but it was later changed to Grenada because its lush lands reminded the Spaniards of home. The name changed several times as the island passed control between the British and the French, but eventually the name Grenada stuck. Grenada, although spotted in 1498, would not be colonized until the 1600s. Unfortunately for the Europeans, the Caribs would not give up their island so easily. They fought, tortured, and killed settlements of Europeans, making it nearly impossible to form a settlement. The colonizers went back home to Europe and spread rumors that the Caribs were violent cannibals who deserved to be extinct.
So that's where that
Within
came
months,
from.
They were back on their boats ready to demolish the local tribes. These rumors of cannibalism continued for centuries.
That's where that came from. They dehumanize them. So when they go back and start killing them off, they're cannibals. So that's where that came from. Because I heard that story a lot when I was a kid. Wow.
But modern science has allowed us the ability to take a closer look into the Carib culture, and we have discovered that there was no evidence of cannibalism in their diet. That's not to say that a cannibal tribe didn't exist, but science shows us that either the Europeans misinterpreted their customs or they flat out lied to justify killing entire civilizations. I wonder which one is the truth. Just draw your own conclusions. We wanted to see a killer view, so Pirate took us up the mountain and told us where we could find the best view in Grenada.
Best view of Grenada.
The best view. So you know if you come to Grenada and you want that good view.
Huh? Do we just
Get
go to
locked
jail?
up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an all-inclusive hotel. You don't have to make no reservation.
And it's cheap. Some might say even free 99.
We go up to that side of it because there's the food up there. And you will get good panoramic pictures of the food up there.
Of course, I'm not going to prison out here willingly, so I opted for the view at Fort Frederick instead. As you can see, it's like a slice of heaven up here overlooking St. George and capturing the natural beauty of the island. Fort Frederick was built by the French after they defeated the British in 1779. Not wanting to be discovered, they built the cannons inward, which gave the fort the nickname Backward-Facing Fort. The forts on the island have been used for several purposes, including a prison and hospital. In 1979, a revolution called the New Jewel Movement, or NJM, spread through Grenada. It was led by the charismatic Prime Minister,
Remember him?
who created a social economy that
I
benefited
was about
the people. He created
17,
free
18
healthcare
when this
systems,
happened.
schools, business loans, and infrastructures that would improve the economy. Unfortunately, he made an enemy in Ronald Reagan when he refused to meet with him and instead allied with Cuba for resources. Reagan felt that Grenada would influence the rest of the West Indies, and he became determined to crush Bishop and his revolution. He sent troops to invade Grenada using a tourist map to locate Fort Frederick. Unfortunately, they got the geography wrong and ended up bombing the home for the elderly at Fort Matthew. Although the view up here is beautiful, the history behind it is so dark. Our next stop was Grenada Waterfall. This waterfall is located
Beautiful
in the
place,
heart of
man.
lush vegetation and located in the beautiful hills of Grenada. The waterfall has
Used
a
to go there all
30-foot
the
drop
time.
and a freshwater pool at the bottom, which my sisters and I were ready to dive in. The water was actually brown because it just rained, and we didn't know that at the time. But either way, it couldn't have been that unsafe if that guy did it. Let me be honest, this was lit. I wish the water wasn't so brown so I could actually enjoy it, but just taking in the magnificence was super breathtaking. There's also a hiking trail up here, so if you visit, feel free to make a day of this. You won't regret it. Back in the car, Pirate continued to give us a rundown of Grenada history. He told us the British were the first to create a settlement in Grenada. They used the island as a port while they sought fortune in Trinidad and Tobago. The Caribs were not for it and harassed and tortured the British until they left. The French were the next to come, and after a series of attacks, they successfully gained control of the island. The French attempted to make peace with the Caribs by offering the chief beads, hatchets, and alcohol in exchange for his claim on the island. Not understanding correctly, the chief accepted, but quickly realized he made a mistake. The Caribs fought the French, but soon realized they were no match for European rifles. The French chased them up a hill, where they refused to surrender.
Leapers
Not
Hill.
wanting to be captured, the Caribs jumped to their
Sauteuse.
death off of a cliff, surrounded by jagged rocks. The location is now known to the island as Leapers Hill. Most of the Caribs died during that leap. However, some survived and swam to surrounding islands where they continued to move until their eventual extinction or assimilation. Most of the native tribes in the Caribbean didn't even die from captivity though. They died from the plethora of diseases that the Europeans brought, which is why they chose to use the strong blood of the African to build their colonies. Our next stop was the beautiful Grand Etang Lake.
Been there,
in St.
man.
Andrews Parish.
Been there.
It's a crater lake.
Used to
and
go there
it's a
all the
sleep
time.
Volcano. The lake is said to bubble from time to time due to its connection to the active submarine volcano Kikumjani, located in the northern shore. More interestingly, it's said to be the home of a mermaid who lures men to a fiery grave. Some say the lake is bottomless, as the bottom has never actually been located. As beautiful as Grand Etang is, it's actually kind of scary, especially with these creepy ass cats lingering around.
Where did these cats come from? I don't remember them being there.
I'll be honest, I was getting super sleepy, but Pirate still had so much more history for us to feast on. He pulled over so that we could see some callaloo leaves growing
Callaloo.
on the side of the road. We also saw cocoa trees.
See that leaf that they showed there and they call callaloo? Ooh-wee. You cook that down with some crab and dumplings and some provisions and stuff, some roots. Lots of pepper. Bubble that down in some coconut milk. Ooh-wee. I'm telling you, that thing are good for so. It's good for so.
And of course, nutmeg. Grenada is known as the spice isle because
You can
became
smell
the
it
world's
everywhere.
largest supplier of cinnamon, cloves, and their most golden spice, nutmeg. Nutmeg found its way to Grenada in 1843 after several brutal wars between the British and Dutch. You see, back then the largest nutmeg producer was located in Indonesia on the Banda Islands. Nutmeg became the most sought after spice in Europe during the Elizabethan times. It was believed that nutmeg could ward off the plague, so several plants were taken from the Banda Islands and planted in different areas around the world. The British planted nutmeg in their colonies, but it rarely flourished in Grenada. Following a huge disaster in the Dutch-Indonesian trade, Grenada quickly rose to be one of the largest spice producers in the world, supplying at least 1/3 of the world's spices.
Still do.
They use every part of the nutmeg to make food like jellies and even ice cream. They take so much pride in their nutmeg that it's actually featured on their flag. After Pirate mentioned that ice cream, I was on a mission to get me some.
Oh yeah,
Deep in
get
the
you
hills,
some.
and I did not feel confident that we would find any. Alas, as we traveled back down the mountain, I spotted a small ice cream shack on the side of the road. I asked Pirate to stop, and of course he did. Inside the small ice cream shack were lovely paintings designed by the owner's 9-year-old daughter, and I must say, she showed some true potential. My sisters and I got the ice cream that we were after, and oh my god, was it amazing.
Yeah.
Nutmeg and ice cream is just a match made in heaven. After this, we were so tired, so we asked Pirate to take us back to Coyaba for some pool and R&R. But don't
Oh, this
fear,
is
that's
new.
not the end of our adventure. Tune in next time to see some of Grenada's funnest attractions and restaurants. And for more information on this episode, please visit the links below in my description. And I'll catch you back here for some great fun, some great food, and some even greater history, guys. I'll see you back here next time.
Okay, man, I'm gonna have to search for the rest because I got to show one where they show you the food and thing, because I'm telling you, the food down there is So I live so far up in the mountains here, I can't get none of that stuff, man. You know, like we have the Christmas drink sorrel, and then of course I could make ginger beer. I make it every Christmas. That's a Christmas drink. I'm gonna just like find the other episode that talks about the food and thing there, and I'm gonna react to that. And you know, man, I'm telling you. So that's where I'm from, right there. You know, just showing you all a little thing. You know what I mean? It didn't go in depth into the history. It was more like, you know, what's Grenada like now and all of that. I want to find one that goes in depth to the history, because they didn't talk about Fedon, and Fedon had one of the first successful slave uprising that lasted 3 years until the British came back and took the island back. And nobody's ever heard from Fedon again. There's actually a part of the island that's where his people used to hide out and stuff. He was I believe, if I remember this right, he was the child of a slave and a slave owner. Yeah, he was what they call a mulatto. But anyway, man, I tell you what, just keep watching. This stuff is exciting. Just keep watching. I'm telling you, I got all kind of cool stuff. Click down there, and then up here I have one with the playlists and stuff. And they click them playlists, check them out and thing. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just keep watching these things because I'm having so much fun, and I hope you guys are enjoying watching it with me. That's why I hope you keep watching too, man, because it's fun. I'm telling you. But you know, in the meantime, take care of each other. Cool runnings.